Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. We're back in my kitchen, and that's right, I'm gonna show you guys how to make some delicious menudo. Y'all stay tuned, I'm gonna get my stuff and I'll be right back, show you how it's made. Alright guys, I'm back with all my ingredients. First, I'm gonna show you guys step by step, but let me start by introducing my daughter, Katie. She's gonna be helping me in this vlog today.
Hi.
Okay, so first we have a 14-ounce can that I just emptied into here. You're gonna use some juice, but not all. You don't wanna drain it completely. I just poured it here in a bowl. And I have 2 cow feet, which is like beef, and then I have about a half a pound of pork feet, or patas in Spanish. I've got cilantro, the ancho peppers, garlic, tomato bouillon, comino, onion, lemon, and this is like a pork skin. It's called cueritos. Okay, and I'm gonna show you guys step by step exactly how I put everything in and all that stuff. So here in this pot, I have about 5 pounds of regular menudo, and then I have 5 pounds of it's called the honeycomb. Okay, I washed it really good, and then I put it here in my pot. The first thing you're gonna do is get an onion and put that in there, which it's already in there somewhere towards the bottom, I guess. You just cut off a small little piece and then put the rest of it in there, the whole thing. You're gonna let it boil with that, okay? Once this comes to a boil for about 30 to 45 minutes, you're gonna add in your all your feet, your beef and your pork, and then you're gonna add in, this is 1 pound of cueritos. You're gonna add in 1 pound of cueritos. You'll let that boil. We're gonna let all that boil, and then we'll come back and show you guys our next step, okay? All right guys, so now that we put our menudo to boil, the second step you're gonna do is you're gonna come over here and you're gonna start preparing your ancho peppers, okay? All these have to be de-seeded, cleaned, washed, and put to boil, okay? You're just gonna pull here, pull off the stem, open them, empty out all the seeds. You can do this in the sink, over the trash can, over a bowl, whatever is easier for you, okay? Once I do that, you just open them up like this, okay? And then I'll rinse them. You just place them here. Whenever you're done with all of them, you rinse them. You put them in a pot just enough to cover all of the chiles. You're gonna boil these for about 12 minutes, okay? Until they're nice and soft, okay? And I'll do that, and then I'll come back and show you the next step, okay? All right guys, so I've already peeled them, took all the seeds out. Well, when I say peeled, I mean peeled them open, took out all the seeds, washed them, and I put them in a pot just like this. You don't have to put too much water, just enough to cover them, okay? And you're gonna boil this for about a good 10 to 14 minutes around there until it's nice and tender, okay? And then we're gonna show you the next step with our tomatoes. All right guys, so as you can see, I have all my tomatoes here on the comal. I've got about 7 of, they're not too large, they're, I mean, I guess a little bit kind of big, but not the actual large ones, okay? You know, you're gonna wanna toast these on the comal. You can boil them, but I like doing this flavor purposes, okay? It's all about the flavor whenever you're cooking something. You're just gonna keep cooking these until they get nice and toasted all around. And don't worry about, because you see them like this, if they're burnt, okay? They're not burnt. That's all the flavoring, okay? You're gonna do this until they get nice and soft, okay? In the middle. And I'll show you what I mean here in a little bit, okay? In the meantime, half of my menudo is still boiling, okay? This is about how it's gonna look, okay? You don't wanna put too much water, because remember, you still gotta put a lot of ingredients in there. You just want it just enough to cover the menudo, okay? That's how it looks. It hasn't came to a complete boil yet, okay? We'll continue to let that cook, and then we'll move on to our next step, okay? All right guys, so here's our tomatoes. This is what I was talking about. See how they're nice and soft, okay? They look a little burnt, but they're not, okay? They're cooked, okay? You want them to be like this, but they're easy for you to mix, okay? So now what we're gonna do, I've put about a cup of water in the bottom of my blender. We're gonna have to do this in 2 steps, okay? You're gonna do 1/2 of this to 1/2 of this, okay? Because it's not all gonna fit in the blender. You'll have to do it a couple of times. So we'll put about 3 tomatoes in here, and then about half of this. And as you can see, like I told you, this is how it looks whenever they're done. They're still kind of hot, okay? They're nice and soft, okay? They don't take very long at all. Now, whenever you're gonna put these in the blender, just be careful. Make sure you kind of let it cool down a little bit, okay? So, because you don't, if you put it in the blender with everything and it's too hot, it's gonna blow the top off, okay? And you're gonna have a disaster, or need to go to the hospital, one of the two, okay? So just make sure you let it cool down a little bit, and then we'll do this in halves. Now, another thing I have here, I've got a tablespoon of comino and about 4 garlic cloves and 1 teaspoon of salt, okay? And then this here is the tomato bouillon, and I'll put a picture of it in my description. Now, everything that I have here that I'm showing you guys is gonna be in my description below. So if you haven't already, go down, subscribe, like. I'm gonna go ahead and put everything in. I'll blend it up, and then I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like whenever it's all done, okay? All right, so now I've already blended up all my chile, my tomato, and the small bowl of all the different seasonings with the garlic, okay? This is what it's gonna look like, okay? You don't want it to be too thick or too thin. You just want it to be just like this, okay? And remember, I told you, you can't do it all in one batch, okay? Your blender's not gonna be big enough. You gotta do it in 2 batches. So whenever you do that second batch, don't put another cup of water. You're only gonna put a cup of water in the first batch. Second batch, you could just put maybe just this much water, okay? Just 1 little spoonful of water. You're not gonna use all the water that was in the bottom of that pan that we took our chiles out of, okay? So now, we're gonna move back onto our menudo. This is gonna wait. We're not gonna add this in yet. This comes towards the end, okay? Now that our menudo is boiling, I'm gonna go ahead and add in our feet, our cow feet, and our pig feet, okay? So let me just add these in. You can just scoop them in, okay? Remember, I only did 2 of the cow feet because they're beef. I just do it for the flavor. If I can get it out. Okay, and the rest are pork, okay? These are piggy feet, okay? I do about 1 pound of those, okay? You're just gonna pour them all in there, all right? And here's that onion I was talking about, guys, see? You just cut it, cut the little top off and throw it in there. That's good for flavoring, okay? You put those in there. Then I've got my little pig skin, remember these? They're called cueritos. It's just the skin off of the feet of the pig. You're just gonna go ahead and dump all those in there too. This is 1 whole pound. And all this ingredients, guys, it should be available at your local meat market. If it's not, you might have to do some research, or you can actually ask your butcher to make the cueritos for you, okay? But most of them should have it. Okay, then you allow this to completely come to a, you let everything completely cook almost fully before you actually add this. Okay, I'll come back and show you what the meat looks like whenever it's time to put this in, okay? All right, guys, so now this has been boiling for about an hour since we put our feet and our cueritos in, the little pig skins. This is what you're gonna see. You see how the water is kind of like a muggy yellowish color, okay? And you see the meat? It's not so white anymore, so clear anymore. It looks a little bit more solid, okay? This is what you want to see, how it's starting to get more soft, okay? It's not all the way done yet, okay? Because remember, in the beginning, we let it boil for about 30 minutes before we put the other stuff in. Then you let it boil for another hour. Now, I'm gonna add in a few things, okay? First, I have about 3 bay leaves and 2 tablespoons of oregano. Okay, we're gonna throw that in there. Okay, get that little mix. Okay, just kind of mix it in there a little bit. Okay, then I'm gonna pour in my 14-ounce can of white hominy. You can use yellow if you want to. You don't have to. This is just what I prefer. Remember, I told you I didn't drain all of it. I like to leave a little bit of juice in mine. Okay. If you like a lot of hominy, you can add more. This is just the way that I make it. Okay? Then I've got, I'd say probably about, if you chopped it, maybe about 2 tablespoons of cilantro. You're just gonna break it in there like that, okay? Then you're gonna come back with our sauce. Remember our sauce that we had sitting waiting? Now we're gonna pour all this in there, okay? Carefully on this because you don't want to burn yourself. Okay? Look at that. You see how it's kind of thick still? It's kind of like a tomato sauce almost, maybe just a little bit thicker. Okay, you're just gonna pour all that in. And if you notice, it got a little bit darker. Once you let it sit for a while, since it's been sitting for so long, it got darker. Then you're just gonna give this a little stir. See how it's starting to turn red? And this will get even darker as it cooks. Okay? Now remember, everything that's in my description, or in the video itself, is gonna be in my description below, okay? And then the only thing is salt. Salt, you can add more or less. It's kind of salt to taste. So if the 1 teaspoon that I put in wasn't enough with all the other ingredients, you can add a little bit more. Now we're gonna let this boil for a bit, and then we'll come back and show you how it looks towards the end, okay? Alright guys, so 3 hours later, we finally got our menudo all nice and finished, okay? They turned out perfect, just like it always does when I make it. Look at that. See how I told you it would get a little bit redder? Look, see the meat? Look at that. Okay, that one, it looks like that's the honeycomb. And they also have regular, we got little pieces of hominy, or cilantro, some bay leaves. Look at that, don't that look yummy? I'm gonna go ahead and plate this and show you guys what it looks like with some toppings on it, okay? Alright guys, so there you have it. My finishing result of my homemade menudo. Look at that. Doesn't that look yummy? It actually is really good. All the flavors and everything just all come together somehow. So I'm just gonna kind of top it off here with a little bit of onion. Okay. Now these toppings are optional. If you're not an onion lover, you don't like it too much, you don't have to put it on. This is just the traditional way to eat it, okay? And then you go in with some chopped jalapenos, just a few. You don't want it to be too spicy, okay? And then give it a squeeze of lemon, okay? 1 or 2, you know, it's your choice. And y'all be sure to go and try the recipe. Let me know what y'all think, okay? Y'all don't be shy to comment, okay? I want y'all's feedback. If y'all do try it out, let me know what you thought about it, what you might have done different, if you added anything to it that made it taste better. Y'all just let me know. And don't forget to come back to my channel. Click on my videos above. You don't want to miss out on what I'm posting out there, okay? Y'all come back, take care in these times, and be safe. Bye-bye now.